How do you look back on what you did to change the game as far as a reliever perspective goes?
Well, I tell you what, for myself and Bruce Sutter and Goose Gossett, those guys like that, man. I think I'll have to go with Goose being one key guy, him and Raleigh, that paved the way for us, because now the guys throw one inning or less. We threw 2-3 innings in tied games we were losing, things like that. But to have one of those guys, I think it was one of the guys they looked up to, and to go see those kids now and talk to them about, hey, guy, this is one of the guys, one of the premier closers. From where I came from, it's unbelievable, man.
When you take a look at, a lot of your career was spent in a Cubs uniform, to see what they're doing now. You think they're doing it the right way? They're kind of stripping it down and then trying to build it back up, because everybody in Chicago wants to see this team do well.
Oh, God, yeah, man. And they got the right guy, I think, to do the job, too, man. It's just the one thing is, for me, Jody Davis was one of the kids that managed a little bit in the minor leagues, and we talked about some of the guys they had to get rid of to get some guys like Garza and people like that. But the minor league system looks really well, and guy O'Neill Fleeter and all those guys doing a hell of a job, man. It's going to take time. You can't just go out there and throw a big league club up there and say, hey, we're going to win. You can put all the talent together. The Mets was a prime example a few years ago. They went out and tried to buy a championship. It's not going to work. And those guys really know what they're doing upstairs for the Cubs. And I think in the next probably 4 to 5 years, they're going to have a really good contender.
I imagine one of the big questions you always get is Hall of Fame. A little over 50% of the voting this past year. So talk a little bit about, what you think your chances are as a Hall of Fame, and what you're looking forward to up on the horizon for that.
Well, you know what? Every time it comes around about December, you start getting goosebumps thinking about the chances. But you know what I really look at is, I came from my hometown probably about 1700 to even be put on the Hall of Fame ballot. To be thought of to be one of those guys out there with the Babe Ruth and the Hank Aaron's and guys like that. Makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, man. But it's just one of those things where hopefully it'll happen. They're starting to give a little more respect to those closers. They look at Mariano Rivera and Trevor Hoffman and guys like that, but I think there's a lot of other guys, like Jeff Reardon and myself, getting a little more credit, I think.
When you take a look at, I think 11 years that you've been on the ballot, but this coming season, or this coming voting, it's going to be a lot of the guys that have been implicated in the steroids, the Sosas and McGuires and Bonds. Do you think because people know that you played the game the right way, that's even going to help you out even more?
I think it's going to help out a lot, man. But you know what? I don't like to talk about guys who's not there to defend themselves, And those guys, I face all of them, damn good players, man, without the steroids or whatever their use was. But you know what? I don't really like to point the finger, for myself, like I said, I'd like to be there to protect myself if that was in that situation. But to say that I played it in the right way, that's a good feeling.
The final question you hear at the Tin Caps game. When you see guys in the minor leagues, guys that are aspiring to get where you were, what's the biggest piece of advice, especially you give to maybe a relief pitcher that wants to see themselves in the big leagues closing out games?
You got to have a short memory, man. Short memory, I tell you what. Because sometimes I think the kids put a little too much pressure on themselves. That's enough pressure to go out there, and get like a major league hitter or even a professional hitter out, no matter major league or not, and make quality pitches. And the toughest thing for them, I think, is when they get to a higher level and you make good pitches and they still hit them. I think that's the one you see the guys start pitching away from contact. But just have confidence in yourself, because I tried to hit. I know how hard hitting is, and there's no way, I tell all of my pitchers, there's no way in this world you can be a failure 70% of the time and be the best at what you do. That's a major league hitter, so I'm like, just give the guy respect, but don't underestimate how hard it is to hit.